So the question that you asked me was, what is loneliness? Why do we feel lonely? And how can we go beyond that? So I'd like to answer that question to talk about different levels. So there's dealing with loneliness on the physical level, the social level, and the spiritual level. We are programmed to reproduce our species, so there's something inborn in us that feels a longing to have a partner and have a family. So just the way your hormones are designed and the way nature has constructed you, you're going to feel this kind of loneliness or, need for a partner. And I guess the simple thing about that is, well, there's nothing wrong with that. So go out and find a partner, but be careful, because I was saying earlier that they have a funny saying in India: if you eat the wrong food, you are a fool for a day. If you wear or buy the wrong clothes, you are a fool for a year. But if you choose the wrong partner, you are the fool for a lifetime. So if you don't want to feel lonely, think very carefully about which partner you choose and find someone who can be your friend and companion for your lifetime. And I think a lot of people kind of get into unfortunate relationships because they're not careful and they don't think about it carefully. On the social level, human beings, unlike some creatures, like cats, for example, are very social creatures. We need friends, we need a network, we need community. So that can, if we don't recognize that and we get lost in our technology, in our phones and our devices and media and things like that, and we don't actually have a network of people that we spend time with and actually connect with, then that can be a big factor, especially today, in creating this feeling of loneliness. So spending time to actually, creating your relationships with your network and finding community and actually being with real people and spending time with real people, I think that's an important thing to think about and design into your life. But even if you find the perfect partner and you have wonderful friends and everything is good on that level, still you will feel lonely, because no person can be with you permanently 24 hours a day. They will be busy with their own work, you will be busy with your work, and there will, or someone will die or move to another country or something like that. So it doesn't matter how perfectly you set yourself up, you will still face and have to face loneliness. And that leads us to the spiritual level. So ultimately, we can only really overcome this feeling of loneliness by moving away from those external levels, from the physical level, from the social level, which can never meet our need. Actually, there's something in human beings that is searching for oneness, permanent oneness, a permanent sense of connectedness, and a total sense of connectedness. And as I said, no human being can fulfill that. I remember I had a friend when I was many, many years ago. I was a young monk and struggling with loneliness, and I was staying with a family. The parents, the husband and wife in the family were really, really nice people. And sometimes it was hard for me because they seemed to, you know, I would feel, oh, did I make the right choice in my life to become a monk? Maybe I would have been happier if I had had a lovely wife and kids like these people. And the father and I were quite close to each other, and he was older than me, and you know, kind of he had done a lot of meditation. He was a very wise person, so it was natural for me to share my things with him. And so I talked to him about my loneliness and that I was having doubts about my choice of lifestyle. And he said to me, you know, Dada, sometimes you can be lying beside your wife, holding her hand, and never feel more lonely in the world. And I thought that was a lesson that, you know, overcoming our sense of loneliness isn't just about finding the right partner. There is something much deeper inside us, and if we're, you know, kind of suffering with our own pains, and we are agitated in mind, and we are just human beings. Ultimately, where are we going? Where are we meant to go? Where does the universe want us to go? It wants us to find the ultimate oneness, you know, to the spiritual oneness, enlightenment, self-realization, where we realize that everything is me, where we completely transcend and find a permanent solution to loneliness. So just finding a right partner and being with that partner, that's not the purpose of why we are here. We have to go further than that. And the partner, however nice they are, cannot solve the loneliness in your soul, right? So in order to find that spiritual connection, that deep connection, I think the first helpful thing is to remember that on that level, you are never alone. The divine is always with you. But if you are focused externally, you won't feel it. So you have to detach from your sense of identification with the body, with looking at the world in terms of physical objects and physical people. Because we are separate on that level. But in the center of your being, in the still quietness of your fundamental existence, you are always connected with everything. We are all one on that level. So to realize that, you have to turn your mind inwards. You have to move towards the center. You have to step out of identification with your body. You have to let go of your connection with the external world and external objects and sit in your own being. And when you sit in your own being, still and quiet, you will always feel connected with everything. So I guess the first thing is to learn how to do that through the practice of meditation. And then, you know, we have certain assumptions about life. So we assume I am a separate human being. So you identify with that. I'm a girl, I'm a boy, I'm this nationality or that nationality, and I'm this type of person or that type of person. As long as you identify with your outer small self, you will always be alone. But we also have our great self, where we are all one. If you identify with that, and if you train yourself to remember that and think about it, then you can fight against that sense of loneliness. So, for example, say to yourself, I am never alone. On the spiritual level, that's true. The divine is always with you. You are always fundamentally a part of nature and this universe. But you choose not to tell that to yourself. You tell yourself another story, right? So we have to tell ourselves the story of oneness. Everything is one. Everything is divine. I am never alone. The divine is always witnessing me. Okay? So that's that's a type of thinking called mindfulness in the yogic sense that we can cultivate. So those are the basic approaches on the spiritual level. Practicing stillness, meditation, being quiet, and replacing your incorrect ideas of being alone with the correct view that I am never alone. The divine is always with me. Everything is one. Training yourself like that. I hope that gives some insight on the question. Namaskar.